Good evening. Will the Board of Trustees of the Pasadena Area Community College District for February 20th, 2019 come to order? Roll call, Ms. Thompson.
Dr. Fillo?
Here.
Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Mr. Hilsman?
Here.
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Chanlao?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Ms. Wah?
Here.
Ms. Rod?
Thank you. Our closed session this evening is going to deal with Government Code 54957, Public Employee Appointment, the Dean of Performing and Communication Arts, Government Code 54956, Conference with Legal Counsel regarding existing workers' compensation litigation of Manuel Redden versus Pasadena Area Community College District, and third, Government Code 54957, Evaluation of Employee, the Superintendent President. Do we have any items for closed session this evening? Mr.
Non-agenda items for discussion, no.
Okay. We'll move into closed session. Thank you. Good evening. A quorum being present for February 20th, 2019. This is the meeting of the Board of Trustees, Pasadena Area Community College District will come to order. In closed session this evening, the board did vote in the affirmative for Manuel Redden in his lawsuit against Manuel Redden versus Pasadena City College. At this time, I would like to have the roll call, please.
Dr. Fillo?
Here.
Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Mr. Hilsman?
Here.
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Chanlao?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Ms. Wah?
Here.
Ms. Rod?
Here.
Thank you. And Madam President, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. Everyone stand, please. Put your right hand over your heart and begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. The first order of business this evening is the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Ms. Brown. For the discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously, with student trustee voting in the affirmative. Introductions or recognitions this evening from
I don't have any.
board, have any? Okay. Public comments on non-agenda items, Mr. Hilsman.
There are none.
Oh, boy. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting from January 16th, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously with student trustee voting in the affirmative. This evening, Ms. Thompson is doing the certification of signatures, correct, Ms. Thompson? And she'll be asking you, because we have a new president, we have to certify all the signatures. So she'll be doing that this evening. We'll now move on to the consent items. And the first group of consent items deal with student items. And I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Student trustee?
Aye.
Carries unanimously. The second group of items in the consent calendar deal with instruction. And the wishes of the trustees?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Hilsman, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next group of consent items deal with business matters. Mr. Osterling?
I would request that we take item 4 off the consent calendar and so we can get some background discussion.
Okay. We'll complete the rest of the consent calendar and then come back to that. With that withdrawal, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval.
President Fellow,
Yes.
I would also like, I'd like some clarification on a question I had on item F12.
Do you want to do that right now? Can we,
Sure.
approval of information technology
It should
purchasing?
be pretty quick. Yeah.
Okay, to answer any concerns, I'd like to have Candace Jones come up. Okay.
Good evening. Yeah, so the question I had on F12 regarding the Dell contracts, so I recognize that those 2 purchase orders that I had flagged were year-to-date. But my question is that contract specifically for warranty and repair, or is it the total amount we're giving to Dell? Because $359 did seem like a lot of money for server repair.
Correct. So the 2 items were, one item was about $4,000, the other one was $9,000. The total $300,000 cost is year-to-date. The 2 new costs are related to some support agencies that come out and help service our servers.
So
One
is-
on the load balancer and then another one on servers that are on.
Right. And so is the total contract, though, just for warranty and repair, or is it for equipment? Is it all of Dell's contract?
It's all of Dell's contracts. So some of those items are equipment that we send out for fixing, whether they be laptops, desktops, et cetera.
Okay,
So
so
the year-to-date-
that makes more sense to me. That's why I was
Correct.
trying to ask if it was just server repair or if it was more than that. Okay, so I'm
Correct.
sure that, not to beat a dead horse, but as we get the IT technology master plan, I'm sure this will be more than crystal clear in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a motion on the floor. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Let's go back to item number 4 today, authorization of rejection of RFP 18019 for Educational Master Plan and Facilities Master Plan. Mr. Osterling?
So I just asked that we pull this from the consent calendar so we could get a little background on why we're doing this and then where we're headed, the new direction.
Okay, great. Thank you for the opportunity to respond. So when I came, I was told that there had been an RFP that had been flown to do both the Educational Master Plan and the Facilities Master Plan, and that there were actually interviews lined up with firms, 4 of them, I believe, to do this task. But the decision was made to wait until I came because I had been identified. And when I came, I looked at the RFP, and then on my second day, I had the fortune to meet with Dr. Crystal Kohlross, and we talked about what she had been working on in terms of research, and she brought me a revised mission statement that we're going to talk about in a future meeting. She brought me an environmental scan and several other documents, and based on my experience of doing educational master plans at 2 other institutions, it appeared to me that having an outside entity come in and do an educational master plan for Pasadena City College when I practically had one sitting in my hands didn't seem like a good use of college funds. And so I decided that was probably not the way to go. And I spoke with our Senate President, Lenora Rogas. Oh. And I spoke with Dr. Kohlross, I spoke with Dr. Juni, and basically said, I think we can do this in-house.
Okay.
So that was the EMP piece of it. But then, as I did more research, I learned that a few years ago, 3 years ago, there had been a draft of a facilities master plan done that was not fully completed. It had been, a company had been hired, they had done a document, and for a variety of reasons, including not necessarily involving all of the constituencies in the process of devising and finalizing that master plan, that master plan had kind of been put on hold. So I requested a copy of it, and as I went through it, what I discovered was that there is a lot of good information in that facilities master plan already draft, and that it needs to be updated, especially in light of what I know from my previous experience with buildings and with facilities master plans, the kinds of information we need to include, such as our cap load ratios and our facility condition index. There's reference to those things, but there's not actually information about them in that draft. That a better course of action, which could coincide with our completing the educational master plan, would be to instead go out and ask for an update to that facilities master plan, and which would include the information, and part of that solicitation would include our expectation that whoever was hired to do so would involve the various communities. It would involve the faculty, the staff, the administration, the board, the local communities, everybody who needs to be involved in the process. And so that's why it's pulled, because I think this is a better, more appropriate, and more fiscally sound way to go forward.
Okay, thank you for that explanation, and with that, I would move that we would also approve item F4, and I would also add the comment that I think the path that you're going down not only might save some money, but I think it'll get us to the finish line more quickly,
Yeah.
which is good too. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion
Second.
from Mr. Osterling,
I
a
have a
second
question.
from Mr.
I have a
Hilsman.
question.
Yes,
President
Swat.
So, Dr. Angiana, since we are doing the EMP in-house, how much, when do you project that we might be able to get that completed? So that
The
we might
EMP?
see it?
Probably within the next 3 to 4 months, basically because we are also going to have to complete our Vision for Success goals, and again, bring the new mission statement to you, and all of what we need to do, especially with Vision for Success, has to be approved and submitted to the Chancellor's office by May 31st. And my prediction, my hope, is that our college goals will mirror or actually be the Vision for Success goals, because to have different goals, to have a whole set of additional goals, would then require us to crosswalk to what the Chancellor's office has basically said, this is what we want colleges to have as goals. So I think it could be done expeditiously, but again, we have to look at the shared governance cycle and make sure that we bring in all of the constituent feedback. And with an EMP, that also involves having public forums with our community groups as well.
So I'm wondering if we might put some of those dates, peg them on the reports due that we have at the end of the board package. That way, it kind of gives us all sort of a vision of what the next steps are.
I'm sorry, the dates.
So there's like a page at the end of our board documents that it's upcoming reports, and that, if we have some of those projected dates, I think it's helpful to kind of envision where we're going and how long it'll take to get there.
Absolutely, and that'll dovetail into what we'll talk about later in the agenda in terms of the March 20th meeting and a study session related to our goal setting as a college.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second on the floor. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. And finally, the final group of consent items deal with personnel, and I'll accept a motion to approve.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion? The student trustee does not vote on personnel issues, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. We now move into action items this evening, and the first action item is authorization to transmit second quarterly financial status report, which is pro forma. I entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion?
Mr. Hilsman.
Mr. Hilsman, excuse me.
You can have it, Jim.
Student trustee,
Aye.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. The second action item today is to approve the 2019-2020 non-resident student fee education code section 76141. Mr. President?
This is, I recommend this, and if the board has any questions as to how we developed the fee schedule, I have Hedva here from our fiscal services who can answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to
I
approve.
move approval.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Ms. Ms. Brown, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. The third action items deal with to receive the initial sunset proposal for negotiations for the successor agreement for 2019-2020 academic year from the Pasadena City College Faculty Association to the PCC Area Community College District. Any comments?
No, we intend to sunshine our response within the next board cycle.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Mr. Hilsman, student trustee.
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 4 is the approval of additions to the credit curriculum. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Mr. Hilsman. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. It is now time for information items from the superintendent president.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's very exciting to have this as my first official meeting, so thank you for having me here. It's exciting, and I'm glad you like the ginger cookies. So I would like to actually begin my report by pausing for a moment of silent reflection for two of our members of our community here at the college who we lost in the last month. The first, Evangelina Quintanar, who's a counselor who worked with our health sciences students, and Ronald Miller, who worked in facilities as the college's locksmith. They both unfortunately passed away in January. They have been remembered as vibrant members of this college's family with contributions that we are now only beginning to fully understand. My colleagues and I have honored their memories by thinking of the service they provided to the college and to our students, and I hope you'll do the same with me right now for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it has actually been an honor and a privilege to be here. I am in month 2, day 2, so this is the 2 days, and it's been great. Everybody's been really supportive, very friendly, and I've tried to go to as many things as I can, try to say hi to as many folks. I had a great meeting with the mayor of Pasadena this afternoon, which was really wonderful, and so it's all positive, it's all good, so it's very exciting. As you know, our spring semester kicked off yesterday, and it's now very busy. I told the executive team yesterday I was really happy that even though semesters started, that I could find parking, but my executive team reminded me that's actually not a good thing, that I could find parking, and it actually reflects the fact that our enrollments are a little soft, and having come here recently from a college that was experiencing declining enrollments, it's Pasadena unfortunately has kind of gone in lockstep with what's happening across the state in general, and that is softening enrollments. We've had to make some tough decisions, cancel more sections than we would ever want to cancel because we don't like to take those opportunities away from students. But I think my fabulous team has done everything they can to help students through the process. But, we're doing everything we can to help students get ahead, and we're looking forward to the fact that there is the student-centered funding formula, which has less of an emphasis on full-time equivalent students, which has basically been our bread and butter. There's a lot in flux in that across the state, and we'll be sharing more, especially as we get towards June and we have our tentative budget discussion about what the impact of the new funding formula is on us. But just know that we're out there trying to figure out how to get as many people here as we can. The college has been celebrating Black History Month here on our campus and in our community. Last weekend, members of our college community marched in the Northwest Pasadena as part of the city's Black History Month parade. How many people here did that? I think Bob Bell did it, all right?
I didn't march, I was
Brown?
there.
I'm sorry I wasn't there. That happened to be a debate tournament for my daughter, so... but I was there with you in spirit, and I understand the weather was amazing, so that's good. Later this week, our students and faculty will have celebrations in the quad and in our gymnasium. There'll be the faculty-student basketball game and on other corners of campus. So if you are around, we'd love to have you come celebrate with us. Lastly, I get to share a little good news that technically is not supposed to come out until tomorrow, so shh. Rice...
Off the camera.
I know, exactly. Rice University is going to make an announcement tomorrow that our college, we have hit a major milestone when it comes to achievement with Open Educational Resources, or OER. According to that university's OpenStax project, Pasadena City College is the #1 institution in the country in both student usage and cost savings from OER.
All right.
And with more than 46,000 students saving $4.2 million in textbook costs. Wow. And I'd like to thank Walter Butler in the library and Julie Kiotis and Lenora Rogax for all of their effort. And I think we have a lot of momentum going, and hopefully we're going to continue that forward. So I want to thank everyone for your work in embracing and encouraging the transition to free and reduced cost textbooks for our students. So it's very exciting. And so again, thank you to everyone. And I really appreciate how welcome and warmly I've been welcomed into the PCC community. That's my report.
Thank you. Any questions to the president? Thank you. We'll now move in.
I would like to say, Dr. Androgenis, I was over on campus and MTA was here and talked about the UPass. So hopefully finding a parking space is not an indicator that our enrollment is low, and more of an indicator that we're using public transit and we're encouraging our students.
That's a good point. Excellent.
Every college president I know has their own parking place.
I do not have my own parking place.
We need a board
Just saying.
policy on that.
Just saying.
We'll now move to reports by shared governance. Ms. Lenora Rogas, Academic Senate.
First, welcoming back the faculty to our spring session. A lot of faculty were on campus over the winter, teaching winter courses and engaging in professional development opportunities. In particular, I'd like to thank the counseling staff for hosting, it was called a Pie Punch and Program Maps workshop, where they walked through with the faculty how to create program maps to facilitate our guided pathways approach. Goals, and it's an ambitious goal this semester to have 100% completion in terms of program maps for all degrees and certificates that enable students to figure out which classes to take next, where they are in their progress at PCC. And so it's a huge burden on faculty, and the counseling staff has been amazing in making, the counseling faculty have been amazing in making sure that the faculty understand what program maps entail and how to complete those successfully. Additionally, related to guided pathways, a group of faculty went to the Guided Pathways workshop facilitated by the IEPI initiative. And so we made a lot of progress in figuring out our goals over the summer and leading into fall in terms of how we want to enhance our Guided Pathways efforts college-wide. Next, we administered an adjunct survey assessing the needs of our adjunct faculty at the end of the winter, or well, it sort of ended in December, and we got those results back. And I would like to extend a huge thank you to Jason Robinson, Crystal Colrus, Dr. Terry Juni, and Dr. Cynthia Levo for making sure that those results were really analyzed in depth and for taking such a proactive approach in making sure that the needs expressed by our adjunct faculty are actually being attended to in a very, very timely manner. And so I look forward to continuing to work with both the Senate and the administration on making sure that our adjunct faculty professional development needs are met as we progress through this next semester. We are, again, having our Flex Day on March 14th, and so I'd like to thank Dr. Jason Robinson and Dr. Valerie Foster and the entire Flex Advisory Committee for all the work that they've done in making sure that we have a really successful Flex Day. As always, our theme is making sure that we are ready as a college for our students, so becoming student ready rather than putting that burden on the students to become college ready. It is our burden to be student ready. And so we're picking up on that theme and, of course, continuing with our Guided Pathways work on that day. And then lastly, last week, I'd like to point out that a shared governance, essentially, group of faculty, classified staff, and administrators went to the IEPI Strategic Planning Workshop. And we did a lot of work on looking at how it is we can better engage our non-credit students and ideally getting them into some credit courses, dealing with workforce issues, CTE issues, those short-term students, and then dealing with transfer students in a way that is more successful and better engaging every member of the campus in how we all play a role, an important role in student completion, not just faculty, everyone on this campus plays an important role in that process. And so I'd like to thank Crystal Colrus again for her facilitating that experience for us last week. And that's it.
Thank you very much. And we'll turn to management with Mr. Tito Morango.
Yes,
Morango.
thank you very much. The MA has been actually busy this winter. We held our winter business meeting just last week where we discussed our professional development activities where MA has taken part in to bring a lot of resources back to the college. One of the bigger things, we also elected a new treasurer in Lacania Fennessy from Fiscal Services. Welcome her to our board. It's fitting, again, that somebody from Fiscal is our treasurer. We discussed our shared governance committees, our membership, and more importantly, the importance of our roles in them. Our goals, we also discussed our goals for our next meet and confer meeting with the Vice President of HR to make sure that the needs of managers are being met. With that, along, as Lenore was mentioning, I also want to thank Jason Robinson. I've been working with him in developing a survey for managers to really target the needs and how we can better support our managers with that. I just want to take a moment. On the board packet, I saw that we are now, as of February 25th, we'll be hiring Liesl Reinhardt, our new Dean of Performing Communication. Also, welcome said person to our membership soon. And lastly, as a side note, as the Vice President of the Association of Latino Employees, I just want to thank all of our members who yesterday took part in our Bienvenidos Day. We did something that we do as a tradition on the first day of fall and first day of spring, and provide our students and staff with pan dulce, coffee, and orange juice as a simple means of welcoming them to the college, for just encouraging them and thanking them for continuing at PDC for another semester. And lastly, as Dr. Adrianos was mentioning, next Tuesday is our basketball game, staff versus students, and I do highly encourage folks to attend, because yes, I will be playing in that game. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito.
Are you playing center, Tito?
No,
We'll turn to classified Senate with Ms. Felicia Mitchell.
Good evening. At this moment, we have nothing to report, but next time we will.
Thank you very much. And President Kim.
Hello, good evening. Our associated student is holding a welcoming events this week, and there will be events also tomorrow. We will be having a root beer floats from 11 to 2 p.m. At the Quad, and at the same time, we'll also have a Ujima performance. And also, we'll have a resources fair from 10:30 to 2. And our Associated Students Lobby Committee is also preparing a town hall before their DC trip. So they'll be my reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll turn to the board and our student trustee, Ms. Ray.
Good evening. This week was the start of the spring semester. The Quad and the Galloway Plaza has had a plethora of students gathered for the events that have been going on, hosted by the Associated Students. Tomorrow will mark the end of Welcome Week festivities with a resource fair and a movie night showing the Black Klansman by the Cross Cultural Center. March 5th, 6th, and 7th will be Club Rush on campus, where over 90 clubs will gather throughout the Quad promoting their clubs. From STEM clubs to hiking clubs, there will be a variety of options for students to partake in. There will be a town hall on the 21st of March open to the public and PCC students. The purpose is to update students on what the lobby committee is doing and learn students' political concerns so they could bring it to the legislators on their trip to Washington, D.C. We are working on getting Senator Anthony Portantino to attend the event as well.
Thank you.
That's great.
Ms. Chinlao.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Happy Lunar New Year, Year of the Pig. I would like to thank the folks that came out to the Northwest to participate in the Black History Month Parade. As a Northwest Commissioner, I was delighted to learn of PCC's participation. But beyond that, last year, PCC actually came to our Northwest Commission meeting and presented an engagement with the Commission on how to get more of the families in the Northwest to participate in PCC, also to enroll in PCC. So I'd like to commend PCC for, I think Dr. Olivio, you did the presentation to thank you for reaching out to the Northwest. I also like to thank Dr. Juni for his effort in working with La Cañada School District to look at the MOU for dual enrollment. I know it's been a progress and a process, both progress and process, and I'm delighted to know that there is movement in working with the La Cañada School District. And for some of you that know, La Cañada is an area that has low enrollment of students to PCC. They're part of our district. And again, the outreach and engagement effort, they're to be applauded by the staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brown.
Oh, I have no report today. Thank you.
Mr. Osterling.
Well, let's see. We just got back from lobbying in Washington, D.C. with our senators and congresspersons. And as usual, the mood in Washington, partisan politics aside, was very receptive to community college. There was one important thing, though, that was missing from our delegation, and that was our students. The students do such a great job of advocating for PCC and for community colleges, and I understand they had finals for winter intersession, so I'm hoping next year somehow we can figure out a way to get the students back with us. The one thing that struck me was the surprise of our legislators about food insecurity at community colleges, the extent of it. And they were very receptive to federal legislation. And one idea, a trial balloon that we flew out there, was the idea of expanding the free and reduced lunch program that's been very successful in the K-12s across the nation, and expanding that to the community colleges. Now, it takes a long time for Washington to work, but we're going to start pushing that and see if we can get that to happen to help PCC and all of the community colleges all over the country. And then lastly, I was able to get in a half of the Lancers basketball game before I came over to the meeting today. They're fighting to be playoff eligible, and at halftime they were up 36-27 over Mount Sac. So hopefully they finished the second half well. End of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hilsman.
Yes. Welcome, everybody. The thing I'd most like to report on is the meetings of the Business Council of the PCC Foundation, which has been taking a very positive initiative towards finding internships for students, developing relationships with business and industry in the community, working with Salvatrice and the workforce development, also some interest in clinical programs for the nursing students who are having trouble finding clinical assignments, and also, I suppose, to a certain degree, the CTE issues. So I'm very impressed that there are members of our community who have resources, who have great connections outside in business and industry, and I'm hoping that in the future we can continue that relationship with the foundation and doing things in sync with the college that are going to help our students, because after all, it's really important for folks to find a job after community college if they're not going to transfer up, and there are a lot of opportunities for mid-skill level jobs. So that's something that I'm delighted that the foundation has stepped up to participate in. The other thing was I was delighted that we had a meeting of the President's Latino Council today, and we heard about really a lot of the activities that they're doing, and it's so important in our college, which is majority Latino now, 51% Latino, that we provide not just support for those students, but also that we promote diversity in hiring and a lot of the other important issues for that community. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. Mr. Martin?
No report this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Wong?
Well, of course. First, I want to recognize one of our fellow K-8 board members, newly elected, Cindy Wu from the Mountain View School District. I also want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year. I was on campus yesterday to celebrate with the International Students Club, and it was a really wonderful event. This is the year of the golden pig, and I have 3 pigs in my family, so it was a big year. I also want to remind all of the trustees and our community members that the API advisory will be having a symposium this Saturday. We invite students and parents from all over the area who are interested in learning about what it takes to get into college and all of the resources that they'll need, and we will have a lot of we'll have our counselors here, we'll have online registration, but we'll have some really great workshops planned. So I hope you do get all of your students and your parents out. It's although it's hosted by the API advisory, everyone is welcome, and we normally have over 200 parents and students, so it's a very successful event. I also had a chance to participate in the Chancellor's Equity Diversity Summit last week, and I know a number of our staff and faculty were there, and I really appreciated seeing them. I know Dr. Androgenis is a great supporter of equity and diversity, and I think it's going to be a really big initiative in the Chancellor's office. He gave a briefing on his vision for this, and I've asked for it to be one of the key themes of the May conference that's coming up for the trustees. In addition, I think that so in May, hopefully you guys will all go to Squaw Valley, and they'll be rolling out the dashboard, and one of the things that they'll roll out is the data disaggregation, which was supported by the joint caucuses of the community college. And they'll be showing some of the data that they've collected through CCC Apply. So I think that's going to be very relevant to our colleges, and I hope this is something that will be helpful for us as we look forward to our goals for the student success. I also wanted to thank the students who did attend with us in Sacramento. So Mia and Sadia were 2 of the students who came with us, and were very, very impressive. We're able to advocate very strongly in Sacramento, and I think our legislators were very impressed with them. But I echo Trustee Osterling's urging that we really encourage and we allow for students to be able to attend these events. I think it's really important for them and their leadership growth. I just recently wrote a letter of recommendation for one of the students who attended with us last year, and it was based on his leadership and his ability to demonstrate that leadership during the legislative visits. And then lastly, let's see. Oh, and I wanted to say the women's group will be celebrating the centennial of the 19th Amendment. And it's the National Women's Political Caucus in San Gabriel Valley, and we will have the honor of having Dr. Androgenis be our keynote speaker. So that's this Monday, and it'll be in Monrovia, and anybody who wants to attend, you are welcome. That's it.
And with that announcement, Ms. Waugh and I represented PCC at the planning meeting of the 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote, which will take place in 2020. And that was interesting. Some outstanding women. It was at Villa Gardens. Some of the women who lived there, some of them were some of the first professors of women in politics from the University of Rochester. It was an amazing group of documentarians, and I had a great time there. And thank you for being there, Ms. Waugh.
Absolutely.
We'll now move on to proposed future board business meeting dates. We will have a special meeting of the board on February 27th, 4:15 to 5:15 at the Foothill campus. And Mr. Hilsman?
Yes, I wanted to ask the indulgence of the board on a couple of items. On the April 17th meeting, I am going to be flying out that morning for an extended travel. So I was wondering if we could move it up a day or two. And perhaps if I could suggest the 15th, I'd appreciate it very much because I would like to attend. The Tuesday, that would be the 16th.
I would like to do the Tuesday.
Okay, the 16th.
No, what day are you leaving?
17th.
Oh, yeah,
So the
Tuesday.
16th
I
would be
can't do
fine.
Monday.
And this would be our regularly scheduled
Yes.
meeting, same time, but it'd be a day early on the 16th.
Yeah, if that's, and then I'm going to have one more request too, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, you're not.
Trying to catch up to that one.
Okay with me.
Okay, so the other request is that I will not be here on May 15th. I'm returning on the 16th of May. So if we could move it to a slightly later date in May, I would also greatly appreciate that.
What did you say? Excuse me.
The May 15th date, if we could move that.
14th?
A few days. No, it's got to be a few days after that.
Can I back up on April?
Yeah.
Is there an issue having the meeting at all during the spring break?
Yes, I will not. I have to be away for the 2 weeks in San Francisco. And then May 5th, what date would
Well,
you
we're
like?
looking at April,
Yeah.
and he was moving it, recommending 17 to 16, and then right below it says spring break, 15 to 20. It's like maybe it ought to be a different week.
I could do the week earlier or any time
The
earlier.
15th, my spring break is the
And May
first 2
15th
weeks.
is the date that we are having the joint meeting with the students too, so we would have to.
Well, let's look at one at a time, maybe.
But it makes sense to keep it on a Wednesday and move it to Wednesday, the 24th.
Will you be here, Mr. Hilton?
Yes.
Oh, let's do that. That's more sense.
May 24th?
We're talking April.
April.
Oh, no, that won't work for me, unfortunately.
Boyd.
You missed the meeting.
Well, as
Why
I
don't you
said,
just miss the
I'm
meeting?
not indispensable, believe me. folks.
Yeah, you're not.
Is that a problem, John?
I can call in.
Yeah, do that.
You could call in, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Process, call in.
Might be the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what's best for staff here
Yeah.
About whether or not to have it during
during
spring
the spring break. I don't know what that
gonna
means for everybody.
Our spring break is the week of that meeting. It's the 15th through the 19th. Well, given that this is my first year here, I have no idea who's here at spring break and who isn't.
Hardly, we're here, but this, everyone else is not.
Everyone else is gone, so the faculty are gone.
Yeah, the
Yes.
faculty are.
It's your
gone.
vacation time,
right?
So,
So we have a meeting we have a meeting next week. So maybe
Well,
you
we have
could
to-
just hold that thought and talk and figure out and come back and we can talk about
I
it
was-
I
next
hate
week.
to tell you this,
Yes.
but the meeting has been canceled just
I was just advised that the information we need through legal will not be back in time for next week's
Oh,
meeting. I
okay.
apologize for that.
All right.
I hadn't done my calculations correctly.
So we're now not meeting on the 20.
That on the 27th. So
Okay.
we will have to determine another time before our March 20th meeting, and when we determine that time, we will also bring forward proposed dates for April and May to
Okay.
accommodate the travel schedule.
Sure.
Yeah, let's
How's
My
that?
apologies.
Okay,
That happens.
we'll do that.
And
So I know you'll all be, watching the Board of Trustees webpage really closely to see when that next meeting is. And
with
promise
all due
we'll get it there.
respect, with all due respect to the amazing trustee to my left, there are occasional meetings that trustees can't make.
Absolutely,
I
So,
think his cons-
sometimes
Yeah.
Yeah,
we stay the course,
absolutely, absolutely.
Trustee Hilsman, was the issue that you would be gone for 2 consecutive meetings? Was that a concern?
I just wanted to raise the fact that I wouldn't be here for those 2 meetings, and
Okay.
if you could accommodate one of them, that would be great for me, but
Okay.
I realize I'm not indispensable at all.
Well, let's try to accommodate the April meeting, but try to keep the May meeting as it is, since we're meeting with the students, and that's already been set with
Yeah,
the students.
sounds good.
So we'll work on those dates
That's cool.
and make sure everyone
I'm a
is
happy
properly
camper.
apprised.
Thank you. Future agenda items?
Can I just say, I'd like to just once again say, as I did earlier, that for our next regularly scheduled board meeting, March 20th, I will be bringing forward the revised mission statement for the college, and we will be having a study session to talk about our Vision for Success goals, as well as the process the college has utilized to arrive at those goals.
Okay, future agenda items. Is there any? Okay. If there's no further business and there's no objection, this meeting is adjourned.